Alright folks, I'm down here in Atascocita today, or East Humble, whatever you want to call it, but get ready to get after it again. We got bees going in up here on the top where the shingles meet this piece of the soffit that comes down here. I found them there before, pretty typical. Where that soffit trend comes down, it doesn't meet up with the roof right, and then they get in under the shingles and they're in this soffit right here, which can be a pain in the butt because it's on a corner. But I've done it before. I know how to get after it. I'm a little concerned. Hopefully it's not an issue, but I see this piece of something stuck right there on the corner where it looks like someone tried to patch something up or seal something out in the past. So hopefully they weren't going in there and up inside the wall and they moved up there when that entrance got blocked. That I don't know. But I'm going to start up here taking down the underside and see what we see. So we're gonna get after it. Well, there's their entrance. Y'all tell me. Might be a good sized colony in here based on all these bees that are out here fanning. Of course it could just be because they're right underneath the hot roof too. Kind of funny to see them all propped up there fanning, but anyway, going in up top just like I thought, and we're gonna work from underneath here. So we'll just take down this trim here and this trim over here, and like I said, we're going to open up more soffit than we need to up front just to make sure that we see the whole nest before we start cutting any combs. I do not want that queen to run up into that space, and I don't want her to run down inside the wall, so I'm going to try to get to where I can see everything before I start damaging anything else. Alright, well I guess I'm due to give you all an update, and I apologize if the vacuum is loud, but anyway, I've been trying to work a little bit quicker. The nest was actually built all the way around past these double studs here, but I think I found the back of it. Started working around the front. This is all brood nest, a little more brood nest, and all honey. Already cut a bunch of honey out of that corner. So yeah, definitely bigger than I thought. I don't know why I ever think they're going to be smaller, but another pain in the butt. These ones in these corner soffits like this are a pain just because of the bracing and the angles of everything. It's kind of hard to get in there and cut the combs easy. And these bees are being a little feisty. They're not really attacking me, but every time I get a little too close, they start bumping my hands and stinging my gloves. So I did have to suit up, and I've actually had to tape the cuffs of my pants. Now that's not really because they're just being relentless, but it's just because I've been sitting over here on the roof being lazy, reaching up working, and so they were landing on the roof and crawling up my pants. So no stings in the legs, but boy, that you just can't focus when you got something crawling around in your boots. So anyway, we're gonna keep on going, keep on working, and hopefully get it done tonight. But I don't know, I might have to just cut out all the honeycombs and some of the brood combs and then come back and finish tomorrow. Running out of light pretty quick here, and I don't have my flood right here. Day 2, and we've got some nasty weather threatening us. So we're going to try to run up here and hopefully get it all done real quick, but I can't promise anything. I just really want to get this job done and over with, so we better get busy. I got that queen, and I tell you, she wasn't easy, but by golly, I'm glad I have her, because man, doing jobs up in the crack of the eaves like this can be a real pain in the butt. No, she's not huge, but she's a good looking girl. I knew I was getting close because I kept having to smoke the bees real hard to get them to run out of a crack, and a couple times I did that. They'd get real runny all of a sudden. They'd all start running towards one side or running the other way. So I knew when they were doing like that she was pretty close. So then it was just a matter of time. I'd smoke them real hard, let them run. When they run, they'd spread out a little bit, so I'd vacuum up as many as I could, just take down their numbers that much more. And then just watch them. And sure enough, here she came crawling out, and my cage ready, and I nabbed her. So I can breathe a sigh of relief. Looks like the weather actually, at least for right now, seems to have broken. Radar was calling for it to get really nasty over me right about now. Of course, that was the radar at 3 o'clock, and projections are really never that good, especially not on radar. They can never predict radar, right? So, right now the weather looks like I've gotten a little break, and boy, catching this queen sure is a break for real. But let me show you here why it was difficult. This crack up in here, and again, leave this up to the contractors, but this crack goes up on top just a little bit, so the bees are all running up in that crack. I don't think they can really get up behind this whole sheet. I think there's a brace or something right there, but still, that crack, man, you get just a little crack like that can be a huge issue when you're doing a removal. queen crawls up in there and decides she ain't gonna come out, it can be a real problem. But you know, I think I did this one about as best I could as far as doing this cutout. You can see everywhere the combs were, all back over there, that whole side. All the way over here was all full of honey, and this was all brood in here. And even had some honey back in here, but what I did was I worked from both sides and worked it down to where all I had left was this little scrap of brood comb. And I knew that, you know, inevitably the queen would be attracted to that, which I didn't catch her on it, but she was down there close to it. So, yeah, now I can cut it loose and start strapping comb and frames. And, yeah, I'm basically done with this one now, just cleaning up. Well, that's it for this one. I got them all out. I got the queen, I got all the comb. I believe I got all the comb. And bee quick to the area now and run the bees out. You can see them probably. Imagine y'all can see them on the video, flying around pretty frantic up there. You can see I just set the box. I just bounced it on the edge of the gutter there so they can start to orient the box. They're orienting to it pretty good and going in. But they're still being pretty active because there's a lot of spilled honey on the ground. So I've got honey spilled down here, and I've got a bunch of honey spilled in the back of my truck too. So they're not wanting to leave the back of my truck for the box. But basically now we're just waiting on dark. So we're hanging out and talking to the neighbors. This one's done.